What's up, guys? Firefighter Adam Seczech here from the Washington Township Fire Department. We are coming to you via video to talk to you guys today about fire prevention. We wish we could be in the schools with you guys, but with everything going on, we still wanted to get the message out to you all. So today, we are going to be talking about fire safety. So we'll get started. So there's a reason we come out in October and talk to you guys about fire safety. It has to do with the Great Chicago Fire that occurred on October 8th in 1871. The fire was rumored to start by Mrs. O'Leary's cow. The cow actually kicked over a bucket that caught on fire and started to burn hundreds of acres. The fire burned for 3 days. The only reason the fire stopped is because it went over to a body of water. The fire left 100,000 people homeless and also burned down tens of thousands of buildings. It was very, very intense. So that is why we have fire prevention in October. So we're going to get started off by talking about smoke. So what is smoke? Smoke is a lot of different things. The first thing is smoke is hot. As you can see in this video right here, being used by a thermal imaging camera, you can see where the green cross is that the fire started in the corner of the couch. And it is 600 degrees right there. So what you're going to see is that the smoke, as you can see, is coming off the couch. It's going to go to the top. And that smoke is going to get hotter. So it's not just fire that's dangerous, smoke is also as well. The smoke gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And eventually, the smoke gets so hot that it catches on fire like you're seeing right now. So you can see that it's starting to get red. It's over 1,000 degrees. It's getting towards 1,200. And that's when it gets really, really dangerous. Even a firefighter in his gear wouldn't survive in that. Smoke is also poison. It contains lots of bad chemicals that can hurt us, like carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide. It's all poison. One breath can hurt us or even kill us. So that's why we gotta stay away from smoke. Smoke is also fast. As you can see in this video right here, the smoke is coming out of the attic. And look how thick it is. Look how fast it's moving. So smoke is what actually hurts and kills more people each year, more so than the fire itself. So smoke can come in lots of different colors, as you can see. The picture to the left, you can see that a house is on fire and it's brown, it's got some black smoke in there, and it's white as well. So that has to do with what is burning inside of the house. You can see that in the picture right there that there's a little bit of fire towards the back, but there's a lot more smoke. So if you look at the picture on the top middle, you can see that there's a firefighter right underneath of the front door there. He's getting ready to go in and put the fire out. You obviously can't see any fire in that picture, but there's a lot of smoke. Very dangerous. So we can see there's gray, black, and white smoke in there, and that's very, very dangerous to us. So there's always going to be more smoke than there is fire. The picture on the bottom, you can see there's white smoke. That is still dangerous. It doesn't matter what color the smoke is. It's all bad for us, and we don't want to breathe it in. And then the last picture you can see is actually a picture of tires that are on fire. Look how dark and black that smoke is. That's probably the most toxic smoke that you can breathe in. And once again, if you look at the bottom, you can see there's a little bit of fire, but what is there more of? Smoke. So let's get into talking about fire. So the video you're seeing now, it was done in a laboratory. The room on the left, which is called the legacy room, is furniture from 40 years ago. The room on the right is furniture from today. So this fire's been burning for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And as you can see, the difference in the fires. So the room on the left, still burning, and we still want to get out at this time, right? We want to call for help and get out of the house. The room on the right is going to start to really get bad. It has to do with how cheap the material is in our furniture. It's made out of cheap synthetics like plastics and cheap compressed wood with glue. So what's going to happen on the room on the right is called a flashover. And you're going to see that that smoke is going to start to get thicker and thicker and thicker. And eventually it's going to catch on fire. And on the bottom, I want you to look at the carpet. A big telltale sign of a flashover is the carpet starts to steam up. And you're going to see it gets very, very violent. So we can see that the smoke is getting thicker, it's getting thicker, Okay, we can see the carpet start to steam now on the floor. And look, the smoke is catching on fire. We want to get out of our house before this happens. Now look at the room on the left. That fire is going to double in size very quickly. So we need to get out of the house, get everyone out of the house, and call for help and get the fire department there right away. Now I want to show you guys what it looks like inside of a fire from a firefighter's perspective. As you can see right here, the firefighters are on the porch and they're starting to hit the fire with the hose line and they're walking in. Now I want you to tell me what you guys see when you walk in. Nothing, right? It's pretty scary. You don't want to ever be in that situation. So once in a while, you'll see an orange glow. Us as firefighters, that's what we look for when we go inside. You'll see the orange glow. And then we'll open up our hose line and put the fire out. But we want to be out long before this happens. So that's why it's important that we take precautions against fire. And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys today about. So can fire be used without being bad? It actually can, but only by adults. So during the summer, you can see a lot of adults barbecuing, cooking some juicy hamburgers and hot dogs. You can see during the winter that if you have a fireplace in your house to keep us warm, we'll use that. And we'll use candles to make our house smell nice. But we have to use it properly, and it can only be used by adults. As you can see in this picture, does anyone know what this is? It's matches and lighters. So these are very dangerous. These start very small fires that can turn into big fires really, really quick. So we are never to touch them. And if you see another kid playing with them, you need to tell an adult. You're not being a tattletale, you're doing the right thing. Because that kid could hurt someone else or hurt themselves by touching and playing with that. Could even burn a house down and start the woods on fire. We've had kids do it before, and we don't want to see it happen again. Smoke alarms. This is one of the first ways you can help protect yourself from fire. Smoke alarms. We don't want to stay home without them. So where are smoke detectors usually at? Are they on the floor? Are they in the fridge? No, right? They're up on the ceiling. The reason that they're up on the ceiling is because that's where the smoke is going. Remember, it rises up, so that's why we need to take care of them, right? We need to take care of them. So when we go home, we're gonna check the smoke alarm with our parents or whoever we live with, okay? And as you can hear, the smoke detector's beeping. That's a problem. So when we see the smoke alarm, we are gonna take it down. So it's gonna be up on the ceiling like this, and we're gonna take it down. We're gonna try to get it down like that, all right? So then this will still be up on the ceiling, and now we're gonna check the smoke alarm, okay? So on the back, you can see there's a date right here. It says December 28th, 2013. So that's within 10 years, so it's still good. So if the date said December 28th, 2009, this smoke detector would be expired. All right, so the next thing we wanna do is we wanna change out the battery. So we'll take the battery out and we would put a new one in. We also wanna change the batteries on the smoke detector when we change our clocks, okay? And the next thing we're gonna do, once it's back up on the ceiling, is we're gonna press the test button. Make sure it's working, okay? So the smoke detector went off, we know it's in good condition. So we wanna change our batteries when we do that. We wanna make sure that they're working, because think about it. If your smoke alarms aren't working and you have a fire, how are you gonna know if you're sleeping? It's very, very important. We recommend that you have one on every floor and one in every bedroom. So please go home and check them with your parents tonight. This year's theme for fire prevention is Not Every Hero Wears a Cape. Plan and practice your escape. A fire is not the first time that you want to do your first fire drill. You need to practice them at least twice a year, once during the day and once at night. You can start the fire drill by pressing the smoke alarm in your house. We want to practice getting down low underneath the smoke. We'll get back to that later. And we want to get out of the house. But it's very important, boys and girls, that we have two ways out. Because think about it, what happens if the first way is blocked? We want to have a second way out, right? So I want you guys to check out this video real quick.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Fire Administration. Have two ways out. When fire strikes, deadly smoke can fill your home within minutes. That's why the USFA wants you to plan and practice home fire drills. Draw a map of each level of your home showing all doors and windows. Discuss the map with everyone who lives with you. Practice your home fire drill at least twice a year. Make sure all doors and windows that lead outside open easily. Push the smoke alarm button to start the drill. Try feeling your way in the dark or with your eyes closed. Have at least 2 ways out of every room. If your first way out is blocked by fire or smoke, you can use your second way out. If there is smoke, get low and go. Crawl quickly under the smoke to your nearest exit. Close doors behind you and gather at a pre-planned outside meeting place where first responders can see you. Call 911. Remember, get out and stay out. Never go back inside for people, pets, or things. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
So if you have smoke in your house, we want you to get down low. So smoke is hot and it rises. Remember I was talking about how it's hot and it usually goes up? We want to get down low underneath of it because we don't want to breathe it in. So as you can see in these 2 pictures, one with the firefighters, that's what we do. We get down low underneath the smoke because we can see better and it's cooler near the floor. It's about 100 degrees near the floor, but once you start going up towards the ceiling, it gets upwards of 1,000 degrees. Very, very hot. So we want to get down low like this little boy is in this picture right here. The next thing we want to do once we get out of the house is we want to get out and stay out. We never go back in. We are going to pick a meeting place with our family when we do our fire drill. So your special meeting place can be a mailbox, a tree, or even a neighbor's house. Somewhere that's far away from the house that's on fire, where your whole family can meet. This is also a good point where you can check and say, all right, everyone's out, or mom's missing, she's still in there. That way, when the fire department pulls up, we'll see you and you can tell us, hey, my mom's still in there and she's in that room right there, and point to it. And that's the first place that we'll go, and we promise that. Like I said, we never want to go back in for anything. We don't go back in for our toys, our iPods, our video games, even our pets, all right? That's what a firefighter's job is. And we never, ever go back in even for our family members. If you go back into a house that's on fire, you have a 90% chance of not making it back out. So let the firefighters do their jobs. I promise. When we go into fires, we've rescued fish, birds, turtles, even snakes. Even though I don't like snakes, we've rescued snakes out of fires. So please, never go back in for anything. So does anybody know the number for emergencies? If you said 911, you are correct. So 911 is a really important number for people, okay? It's a number for emergencies. So if you have a fire in your house, you would call 911 and you would tell them, hey, I have a fire, and they would send the fire department. Or if you feel like somebody's trying to break into your house, you would call 911 and you would get the police department. Or if somebody's sick or really, really hurt, or they're not breathing, you can call 911 and you'll get an ambulance. And all 3 services are there to help you. Now, when you call 911, it's important that you know a couple things. Number 1 is that you know where you live, because that's one of the first things they're going to ask you. So it's important that you know your address. The other thing they're going to ask you is, what is your emergency? So you would tell them, my house is on fire if your house is on fire, or if somebody's hurt. And they're going to give you some instructions on what to do, and it's important that you listen. All right? The one thing we never do, boys and girls, is we never call 911 to play a game. All right? Because if we call 911 just to see what it's like and we hang up, they're going to send a police officer out to your house still. And that police officer could be used for someone that really, really needs help. So 911 is only for real emergencies, okay? So the next thing we're going to get into is close before you doze. I want you guys to check out this video real quick.
But you can't come in unless you give the password.
I can't, Dad.
Yes, you can, buddy.
Oh, I can't.
Hey, Shaw, we got trick-or-treaters.
Ah!
So the difference with closing your door before you go to bed could be the difference between 1,000 degrees and 100 degrees. So by keeping our door closed, we can keep the smoke and fire out of our room. So this picture right here, as you can see, this is in a house. And if you look out in the hall where we're standing in this picture, you can see that it's pretty burnt up. So the room on the left, the door was open, and it's pretty black in there. Do you think somebody would survive in that room? No, they wouldn't. But take a look at the room on the right. Look how clean it is. If I was to put you in that room and close the door, you wouldn't even be able to tell that house was on fire. So keeping our door closed can keep you and even your stuff safe. So we want to keep that door closed. Here's another picture that was done in a laboratory. So this house was on fire and the fire went down the hall. The room on the left, the door was closed. Look how clean it is. Once again, you couldn't even tell that there was a fire. But look at the room on the right. Very black, a lot of heat, and lots of smoke. We do not want to be in that room. We want to be safe. Once again, this room was open. As you can see at the top of the ceiling, it started to melt. It's black. It got really hot in there. Okay? Now look at this room. Even though it's a little messy, it's still clean. And there was a fire in this house. If you look closely on the left-hand side of the picture, you can see the outside of the door that faces the hallway and how burnt up it is. That door helped stop the smoke and fire from getting in your room. That's why it's important to keep your door closed. Hey guys, Firefighter Adam here again. So we talked about closing the door before you go to sleep. What we're gonna do now is actually show you. So as you can see, I got a lot of different numbers and different colors on this door. So at the bottom, you can see it says 100. That's how many degrees it is. So 100 degrees, it's like a hot summer day. So as we work our way up, it gets hotter. 300, 500, 700, 1,000. So this is why we tell you guys to get down low, okay? Now this is like a bedroom door just like in your house, all right? So we wanna keep that door closed. Now if we're sleeping and we hear our smoke alarm going off, beep, 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 the first thing we wanna do is wake up and recognize that the smoke alarm's going off, all right? The next thing we wanna do is walk over and turn on the light. We wanna feel the door with the back of our hand, like this. If the door is hot, what do you think that means? That means there's fire on the other side of that door, and we do not wanna open it. Now, if we feel that it is cool, it's okay to open it up and take a peek. So what I'm gonna do is get behind the door, and I'm gonna take a peek. Now, if I don't see any smoke, I'm just gonna go get mom and dad and tell them, hey, the smoke alarms are going off if they haven't gotten up yet. But if I see smoke all the way to the floor, I need to close the door right away. Now, if I see smoke from here up, what can I do? Crawl low underneath the smoke and get out. Now, like if I said, if there's fire or smoke on the other side all the way to the floor, there's a couple things we gotta do. First thing is if you have a cell phone in your room, call 911 and put it on speakerphone. If there's smoke coming underneath your door, what you can do is a couple things we can grab to slow it down. One being the sheet off your bed, a towel, or even clothes. So what we can do is we'll grab it and we'll stick it underneath like this. That'll buy us more time from smoke coming into our room. The next thing we want to do is go over to the window, open it up, and start yelling for help. If we're on the first floor, we can get out and go to our special meeting place. If we're on the second floor, we're gonna stay there until the fire department comes. We'll put up a ladder and we'll get you out of there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the other side of the door to see what this door is protecting from coming inside of our room. So now what we can see is the side that is facing the hallway. And you can see that this door took a lot of heat and fire. As you can see, we'll start at the bottom. Nice and clean and white down here. But as we make our way up, it gets worse and worse. This is why we tell you guys to crawl down low. You're not breathing any of this junk in, the smoke or the heat. So get down low where it's clean. Now, as we make our way up, it gets worse and worse. This was over 1,000 degrees up here. Look at all the damage on this door. Look how it's starting to bubble. You don't want to breathe this in. If it could do this to a door, imagine what it could do to you. Now, if fire or thick smoke is blocking your exit, there's a couple things we want you to do. The first thing we want you to do is try to turn your light on in your room, okay, so you can see what you're doing. If you have a phone in your room, we want you to call 911 and get help started early. If you don't have a phone, we want you to scream for help. We want you to go over to that window and we want you to yell for help. Help, 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 my house is on fire, as loud as you can. okay? As loud as you can, because it's really important. So maybe a neighbor will hear you and they can call for help. The next thing we want you to do is stuff a blanket, clothes, a towel underneath that door to stop the smoke from coming underneath that door. It'll help delay the smoke. Then the next thing is, if you're on the first floor, your bedroom's on the first floor, if you can open it up and go out safely, please do. If you're on the second floor, we want you to stay there. The only time we would want you to go out that window is at the absolute last resort if fire and smoke is gonna get you and you feel like you're gonna get hurt, okay? And that smoke is starting to hurt you, then go ahead. We can all agree it's better to have a broken bone than to be stuck in there with the fire, right? I agree. So now we're gonna play a little game. It's called What Would You Do? So I'm gonna show you guys some pictures here, and I want you guys to tell me, what do you think the problem is? All right, so we can see here we have a little girl playing with some candles. Is this safe? What do you think? I don't think so. No kids should be playing around with candles, okay? Even if you get close to it, the heat from the flame can burn you, all right? What happens if she accidentally knocks the candle over, right? It could start a fire. It could start our house on fire. So we do not want to go near candles. We want to keep them away from, if you have little brothers and sisters, we want to keep that away from them. All right, good job. Next picture. Look at this. All right, guys, so we can see here that a kid's riding a bike, but can you see the one thing that he is missing to protect himself? Let's see if you can guess it. Oh, that's right. He forgot his helmet. It's very, very important that we wear a helmet when we're riding our bike. Accidents happen all the time, and we need to protect our head. Our head are very, very fragile, so we need to protect our head. We got those big brains in there, and we want to protect them. All right, let's take a look here. So as you can see, there is a little girl, and she is in a cabinet. Can you guess where she is? Well, if you guessed under the kitchen sink, you are correct. We do not want to play underneath the kitchen sink. Adults keep lots of chemicals under there. Chemicals that may look cool with different colors and designs on them, but they're all poison, right? And they're all bad for us. So if you see your little brother and sister down there playing with it, you need to get them out of there and tell your parents. It's also a good idea to have a lock on there. So that wraps things up, guys. We want to thank you for being such good listeners. And remember, check your smoke alarms, practice home fire drills, and stay safe. Have a great rest of the school year. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.